Hello, my name is Alejandro, and in this video I will be modeling this pipe from the book 100 Cat Exercises by Jason Arts. Now this is not meant to be a tutorial, and the footage will be playing at double speed just to make the video a bit faster, but I hope you enjoy watching the modeling process and seeing how it turns out in the end, and maybe you can pick up some pointers along the way. The point of these videos is just to show off some modeling, and I know that this first video, this pipe, is fairly simple, but I hope that if you can think of some more complicated pieces to model or any ideas that you might have, please leave them in the comments below. And I'd like to do at least 2 of these videos each week, so I'll definitely need lots of suggestions to keep modeling away. Alright, so without further ado, let's get started by creating a new part. And so first thing we're going to do is go to the right plane and create the profile that this tube or pipe is going to follow. And so starting at the center, I like to create the general shape of my sketch first and then dimension it out properly. So first getting those straight lengths and then the curve on that. And next is the angle between these 2 points. Now I thought I could get the angle by just using those 2 points, but they need some kind of guiding line or reference line to measure the angle from, so I went ahead and created those as construction lines, making sure that they're perpendicular to the straight lines of the pipe. Set that to 45 degrees. So there we have the sketch that this profile is going to follow. And so using the swept boss feature and the circular pattern, we can go ahead and set our thicknesses and create this tube very easily. And so after we have that, we now have to create the flanges at the end. So go ahead and go normal to this top face, sketch on that, create a circle for the inner radius, and then we're going to go ahead and create a center rectangle from that, and dimension out one side, and since it's a square, we're going to make those 2 sides equal. Now we have a square with each side being 225 millimeters. Now I was trying to fillet these edges within the sketch, but I was getting some errors that I'm gonna have to look into later. And so for the sake of this video, I just went ahead and made this a square, extruding it, I believe 37 millimeters, and then using the fillet feature to create those edges, those rounded edges. Fillet of 38. So next comes the holes. Now let's assume that these holes are centered at the same center as these rounded edges, so went ahead and found those, made all of these circles equal to each other, and then dimensioned 1 to 32, a diameter of 32. So after that I went ahead and created the fillet under the flange with a radius of 15. And right there I had to make a cut to save the file, and I was also trying to figure out if I could just copy these features I just created onto this face so I wouldn't have to manually sketch out the flange again. I spent a couple minutes doing that, and with no luck, so I figured I would just cut it out, and so I would just redraw the entire thing. It was fairly simple, fairly straightforward, took me less than a minute, so I went ahead and drew the entire flange again, making sure it is fully defined. Learned from my mistakes previously, I didn't even try to fillet these edges, I just went ahead and extruded it, and then there I accidentally clipped the wrong edge to fillet, but quickly fixed that, fillet those edges to a radius of 38, and then go ahead and cut these same holes just like before. So there we have both flanges on each side, and now this side has an extra little extrusion right here, just a slightly larger diameter circle. So I went ahead and created a new sketch on that flange's face, created 2 circles, and extruded that, I believe, 10 millimeters. Now I got a little bit confused in the drawing, so I had to look back at it. Turns out that the original sketch I made, I dimensioned slightly inaccurately, and that's because I kind of looked at the drawing in a rush, missed a tiny detail, and so you'll see that shortly. Yep, I figured out that was 10 millimeters right there, and then I went ahead and fixed my mistake previously. So that distance should have been 37 because 47 was the total distance to that edge. So there you have that. 37 plus the 10 on the edge would give me 47. And so those edges also had fillets, so I went ahead and added those. And there we have the final model. So pretty simple model if you understand how the sweep feature works. So if you do understand that, and you can sketch out the path that the tube is going to follow, then perfect. That's really all beyond the basic extrude, cut, and fillet features. So I went ahead and rendered this model because why not? So I hope you enjoyed watching this quick little modeling. Like I said, it's not really a tutorial. If you learned something, that's fantastic. If you didn't, well, I hope you at least enjoyed watching the modeling process. And if you have an idea for something that would be cool to be modeled, I'd love to hear it. Please just leave it in the comments below, and I'll get to it. So that's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Something is definitely missing here. Ah, I know what it is. All it needed was a racing stripe. Now, the water will move much faster.